Yeah, welcome back. It's Destination Newry. It's the morning programme. It's Rowan Hand, your host. Thankfully and gratefully so, a great privilege to be with you. And James Adair is with me from Leathercraft in Newry. James, you're most welcome.
Thank you.
Your establishment is over in the Wynn Business Park in Newry.
That's right.
And you have courses on the go constantly there.
Yes.
Now, tell me about your involvement in the wonderful work of Leathercraft. When did it start, or how did it start?
Long time ago.
Yeah.
I started when I was 13, and I had the great privilege of training with a master saddler from the Household Cavalry.
Really?
He was a master saddler for 23 years in the Blues and Royals.
Wow.
And then I progressed, and I trained with the present Queen's harness maker and master saddler.
How do you manage to get from the Wynn Business Park into the affection and the guidance of the Queen's cavalrymen?
I've been very lucky. Very lucky, yeah. You need to be keen to learn and have a hunger to learn. And the help is out there if you want it.
Yeah.
And I've been very fortunate in the people that I've been able to glean my knowledge from.
Boys, Adair. And this is all the stuff of your trade, all your bits and pieces.
This is just a few bits and pieces. We have a pony saddle here.
Did you make that saddle?
Yes, I made this pony saddle for the RDS craft competition last year. It was on tour and has come back just there in November.
When you say it was on tour, what does that mean?
They take a selection of the different disciplines throughout the craft sector. Leather, ceramics, jewellery, lace, and they take it on tour after the Royal Dublin show in August around the country. My
goodness. And there's a huge amount of making. Andrew, go tight on that saddle. Huge amount of making on that.
In that particular saddle, about 36 hours.
36 hours. And looking at that now, what would one have to pay for an object like that?
Well, this is a modern pattern pony saddle, and because it was handmade, you'd probably be expected to pay about £800.
£800 for that. So the business of pony riding can be quite expensive.
Yes, the purchase of the pony is probably the cheapest part.
It starts from there.
Yeah.
This is a magnificent piece, Andrew, if you'd like to come to it. Cowhide. It's a briefcase. For a man or woman, probably a man, I would think. It's got that toughness to it, which makes it quite masculine in ways, but it's all hand-stitched, and there's a lovely waxed feeling of it. The leather is protected, and the solidness of the brass is here as well. I rather think this could become an heirloom in a family, where you have a father passing it down to a son.
Yes, probably a piece of antiquarian leather work of the future.
Absolutely. And it's a grand feeling, I dare say, to know that you're creating antiquarian leatherwork for the future, that people will, in 100 years' time, caress this and know that it's important.
Yes. I actually specialise in side saddle, and the present I'm working on 3. The oldest one, I think, was built in 1912.
Goodness gracious. Are we talking dressage here?
Oh, side saddle.
Side saddle.
Ladies only. Both legs are over one side.
Over one, yeah. Goodness gracious. And where does that sort of thing occur?
It's had a bit of a revival, actually, due to a young lady from Navan, a dentist called Susan Oakes. She broke 3 world records in a very short period of time. 2012, she broke a world record high jump, which stood for 40 years, and I'm very thankful that I had a small part to play in that.
Excellent.
And then she went on and had nearly 60 ladies riding side saddle to the Meath Hunt.
Goodness gracious.
The following January, and then February she won a point-to-point side saddle. So this has gone worldwide, and there's a great revival in side saddle.
Things like this. Now, this is a dog collar.
Yeah, that's a dog collar for a dog de Bordeaux.
A dog de Bordeaux.
Or a mastiff.
A mastiff. Good. And was this made for a particular creature?
Yes.
Wow. So the person's to come and collect it.
Yeah.
Put it on the dog.
Yeah. It's not the largest one I've ever made, but
really?
It's not too far.
Yeah. And what would that cost?
I think
A rough idea.
It might be a price on it, actually.
I can't see. My eyes aren't good. No, just leather dog collar. Oh, yes, there is. £65.
Yeah.
Goodness gracious. That's a lucky dog getting that.
Yeah.
Now, you have tools here as well.
Yes, we have
James.
some of the saddler's tools. We have.
Now, what is that for?
This is a saddler's hammer.
Can you get in on that, Andrew, please?
It's
And what would you be hitting with that?
well, actually, we tack, we nail, and
aye.
the chisel end here is polished. So if we need to bend leather,
You can do that.
can do it as well.
Yeah, and that bends the leather.
And the face is highly polished,
Yeah.
so we don't leave marks on the leather.
Now, you've been doing non-stop this since you were 13.
Yes, I've been at this since I was 13.
You're surrounded by the feel of the leather and the
Oh, yeah.
smell of the leather.
Yeah. Well, unfortunately, I don't get the benefit of the smell anymore.
You've had so much of it.
I'm immune.
Immune to
I
it.
suppose.
It's gorgeous stuff.
These are just a few other
Yeah.
ancillary
Bits and
items like
pieces.
belts,
Yeah, belts and the like.
purses, and
Yeah. Now, what's this for?
This is a masher.
A masher. And what does that do?
It looks like a bit like a darning tool.
Do you know something? I went into a shop recently and I asked for darning wool, and the young woman looked at me as
Yeah.
though I had three heads. They do not know
No.
what darning is anymore.
That's true. They probably wouldn't know what a darning mushroom
No,
is. either.
indeed they wouldn't.
This is actually to even out the flock. On the
What's
bottom
the flock? That's the.
Let me just take the saddle off here.
Yeah, just watch your microphone there that it doesn't pull out.
Okay.
Yeah, Andrew.
So this is the cushion that goes towards the horse.
Yeah,
And this is filled with wool fibre,
yeah.
fleece. And just in case there are any lumps and bumps,
Oh, that does it. That gets it out.
Yeah.
Yeah. That means that the horse won't have a burr under its saddle
or a pressure point.
or a pressure point. That is fantastic. Now, the other bits and pieces are slightly bejeweled there on the leather. What is all that about?
There's a bling, as we call it, is a big thing in especially dressage. Anybody who's watched the Olympics have probably seen the top riders had these bejeweled brow bands.
Yes.
So we've gone with the Diamante or Swarovski fronts,
Yeah.
and then these are beads. These are all little individual beads which have been stitched in.
Wow. And is each bead stitched, or do you simply put the...
Well, what I've done here, I was experimenting. They're normally put in with a wire,
Yeah.
but this is actually, believe it or not, fishing wire or fishing line.
Yeah.
And every 3 or 4 beads, they're stitched in right the way
Goodness
along,
gracious.
all by hand.
All by hand. You need patience to do your work.
Yeah, yeah, and a little bit of hand-eye coordination.
Hand-eye coordination. Now here's, in cutting, this is an amazing tool.
This is a bridle maker's knife. In the saddlery industry, many years ago, a saddler just made saddles.
Yeah.
Nowadays, the modern saddler is a bridle maker, saddler, a harness
lot,
maker,
yeah.
so they have to cover everything. But this would have been a knife specifically used by a bridle cutter, and you would have cut lengths, and then you can, when you need, sometimes we
Wow.
need to thin the edge of the leather down. I can just, and we just push like so.
Wow. That's so sharp. Are you seeing that, Andrew? That is so sharp. My goodness. Yeah. Goodness gracious. That is huge.
But the same can be done with the traditional saddler's knife. This
No.
one is one of my first ones. I've had this knife for 30 odd years.
And you use this, how would
This
you
is
cut a piece of leather? Why is that good for cutting a piece of leather rather than a normal straight knife?
Well, we push rather than pull.
So you're giving, it's a kind of
so
a,
we pull.
Yeah.
When we're cutting a length, we would go like so.
yes, yes,
And when we're
yes.
going around the corner, we tip the knife back.
Wow.
It is very, very sharp.
And you learnt all of this over the years.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
Going at the zenith of your apprenticeship
Yeah.
with the household cavalryman.
That's right.
Goodness gracious! And would you still do work for the household cavalry occasionally?
No. The last time I was over in 2010 working with Frances Kelly, the Queen's harness maker. She was getting ready for the Jubilee. Getting the state coach ready for the Jubilee.
And all of this coming out of Newry.
Yeah.
What kind of people are coming to you now? We'll talk about the courses that you do. You want to share your knowledge with people. You
Yes.
want to allow this to live on strongly and vibrantly.
Yeah.
What kind of people? How long have you been doing the courses?
We started last November,
Yeah.
and we didn't have anybody in December, obviously Christmas and New Year. So our next one is on Saturday and Sunday.
Saturday and Sunday coming.
Yes. And the people who will be coming will have no skills at all, or very, very few skills.
Are they all booked in now? They're
Oh, yes,
there.
yeah.
You have the course full at the moment.
Yeah, we've people coming this weekend, and we have inquiries right through, well, really basically throughout the year.
Throughout the year. Absolutely. Now, they come to you. A 2-day course, is it?
Yeah.
So, at the end of, you come the Saturday, the end the Sunday. What might they have to take home with them at the end of the Sunday?
We start at 9 o'clock and we try and finish at 5. The comments we've had so far from people who've done other craft courses is that they go home with an incomplete project.
Yeah.
If I have to stay until 9 o'clock on Sunday night, they will go home with a completed project. Generally, they will go home with a hand-stitched belt.
Goodness gracious.
And a purse or small leather item
Yeah.
of their design and manufacture.
Yeah. Yeah. And when you say there are all kinds of people coming to you, put flesh on the bones of that.
Well,
what
we've
kind
had retired doctors, we have had
Yeah.
a surgeon,
Yeah.
and...
A very different bit of cutting for the surgeon, I'd
yes,
say.
yeah, it was, yes.
I could see a surgeon making and wanting this.
Yes.
Yeah. Because it's a high quality item, there's no two ways about it. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, leather has always been known as a luxury item product. So it's an expensive medium to work in.
Yeah.
But it's not inaccessible. No.
It's not inaccessible, but we've been through a recession.
Yes.
Did you find that bit into you?
Not so much. We've found in the equestrian world that a lot of equestria will actually feed the horse before they feed themselves.
I can understand this. Yeah.
And as far as their tack goes, really and truly, these are the items that keeps them safe. So
Yeah.
they have to be well
Have
looked
to be
after.
good. Yeah. Yeah. And those, your little brodels, or what are the bradawls?
Oh,
What
these
those
are
called?
stitching awls.
Stitching olives.
Yeah, a bradawl is. What do I say? We have one here somewhere. Would be. That's a bit short. But
Yeah.
it's basically round.
And it's round, and it's for making holes in leather.
But this is the chap here who actually does. This is a stitching awl.
And this is a stitching awl. So
And
you're making the hole.
Yeah, it's diamond in shape.
It's diamond. I feel that it's diamond in shape. Why is it diamond in shape?
Because a round hole in leather will tear.
Yeah.
So when the awl goes through the leather, we try and keep it at a 60-degree angle.
Yeah.
The thread will pull up into a nice angle on the blunt side of the awl, and it won't tear the leather.
Wow. There's science here as well.
Yeah, yeah.
What was being interested in leather? What did you find? What's the provenance of work with leather? How far back does it go in the history of our kind?
Well, it goes back to the dawn of time, really,
return this
because
to you. What's the first evidence of leather being used?
People depended on leather for clothing and shelter. When Stone Age man actually hunted an animal, everything was used: skin, bone. Archaeologists have found needles made of bone. A few items of clothing. That's one thing we have here. Our boggy land, when someone has been buried in a bog or whatever, they find shoes and various other leather items. So it's been used, as I say, for shelter, for protection, shoes, clothing, armour in battle.
In battle, yeah.
People have actually used leather drinking vessels. Jacks, bombards.
What's Jacks,
bowls.
bombards? What's that?
They would have been sort of used in the medieval period. Been a leather cup.
Yeah.
Moulded and then lined with either pitch or beeswax.
Beeswax, amazing. And I remember 3 years ago in northwest Nigeria, in the deep bush, on an afternoon, coming across a man working in his field in a compound, and he came round to greet us. He was naked, but he was a tall man, thin man, very black man. He came round wearing nothing other than a leather loincloth. So it's still being used in primitive society today. Really is. How do people contact you, James?
We have a website, and my wife looks after Facebook.
Okay. And there's a good man you need to talk to. It's Mr. Titherington, Albert Titherington. He sends his regards to you. And your website is called what? Or is there Facebook for you? Or what's the best one for he can get you? He wants that.
It's www.
Yeah.
The Journeyman Saddler.
The Journeyman. That name in itself brings us back into history, doesn't it?
JourneymanSaddler.com.
.com. And it's an amazing array of stuff. Yeah. Well done. Congratulations. And you're based in the Wynn Business Park.
In the Wynn Business
How long
Park.
have you been in Wynn?
We've just been just over a year.
A year there. So it's going okay for you.
Yeah.
It's a great traditional artisan trade to have in Newry, and it reaches back, as we say, back into history. Well done. Very, very pleased to have had you on the programme. TheJourneymanSaddler.com. That's where you find this man. And is there a number that they should ring you at? Do you want to try that as well?
077.
Well, we'll do it slowly for them. 077
47 129
129
161.
161. That's it. The Journeyman Saddler. You get that on the website, and then 077 47 129 161. James Adair, go well and keep the wonderful work going that you're doing.
Much.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Music, sir.